Hello, parents. I'm Andy Sweeney. I'm here with Aaron Sprang, and we just finished creating the first Paths lesson for your kids, where we introduce each of the classes to the Paths program, and we wanted to take a couple minutes and also do an introduction for the grown-ups in our students' lives, so that you can get to know us a little bit and get to know what your child will be learning about in Paths each week. We should probably do some introductions. We may be new faces to some of the parents out there.
That's true. So for those who don't know me, my name's Erin Sprang. This is my 4th year as the director at Montgomery Nursery School. My husband and I, we live in Montgomery, just around the corner. So that's really convenient. And we have 3 daughters, Emma, who is a 6th grader this year, Caroline, who's a 4th grader, and then Lydia, who's in the bunnies class. So one of my favorite parts about being the director is that I get to go into the classrooms and I get to teach. And this program is the program that Dr. Andy and I teach together.
So I'm Andy Sweeney. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I have a private practice in Madeira, where I work with children and adolescents with anxiety and depression and disruptive behavior problems. My primary office is in Madeira. If and when the world reopens and life gets back to normal, our practice will hopefully have a satellite office on the campus of Church of the Savior at some point down the road at the Peace House. But in addition to working with children and families, I come into Montgomery Nursery School once a week and do Paths lessons with Mrs. Sprang. And I think I've been doing Paths at Montgomery Nursery School since you started, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
We've been doing it at Montgomery Nursery School for 4 years. I did Paths programming in a Cincinnati public Montessori school for 6 years prior to that. So I've been doing Paths for a long time, and I think it's one of my favorite things I do. My wife and I also live in Montgomery, around the corner the other direction from Mrs. Sprang and her family. And I have 3 daughters also. Eleanor is a 7th grader. Mara is a 5th grader, and Juliet is in the 1st grade. Juliet, all 3 of my girls went through Montgomery Nursery School. One of my favorite things about the early years of Paths was having the chance to go into Juliet's class when she was there and do Paths lessons there. And I have to say, so as a clinical psychologist, it's really cool to watch our young friends learn some of the skills from Paths and start to apply them throughout the years. It was amazing to have a kid in the program and to watch her do those things at home and realize, oh wow, this stuff really clicks and translates from the classroom to home. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Paths.
I am too. And so as we mentioned, this is our social emotional learning curriculum for the school year.
Should we introduce our other friends first?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't forget about them. So we have a couple of puppet friends that come with us
Yes.
when we go into the classrooms.
So we have, this is Twiggle the turtle. I'm not going to do my Twiggle voice. Why not, Dr. Andy? People like it. No, they don't.
And this is Henrietta the hedgehog.
So for each Paths lesson, Twiggle and Henrietta usually do a little skit at the beginning where they act something out. They work through a problem, and then that skit will kind of lead into the lesson of the day. The puppets are also a really cool way for us to connect with kids. Your kids are at an age where they think puppets are really sweet. So we feel a little goofy doing some of the puppet skits, but I would say after a couple weeks, the puppets are more popular than we are.
Oh, I definitely think that's the case.
Yeah.
And that's by design.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it would be good for us just to share with parents what exactly that means to have a social emotional learning curriculum and maybe why that's important.
I think that's a good idea. So there are 5 categories of social emotional learning that we will focus on for Paths. We're going to focus on self-awareness, so on your child's ability to understand and manage their own feelings and kind of regulate their emotions. We're going to talk about self-management, so that's the ability to manage their behavior and impulses. We're going to talk about social awareness. So that is your child's ability to kind of have empathy and to be able to understand others and recognize their emotions. We're going to go over relationship management, so knowing how to work and get along with others, and then we're going to talk about responsible decision making. So those are the 5 categories that a lot of our lessons are going to fall into. We get the question a lot, why is social emotional learning important? I think we all grew up in a generation where the focus was reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we found that if we address a child's social emotional needs, it's very helpful and it connects back to academic outcomes. PADS in particular, and if I think at this point all of the parents have received the PADS informational letter. But if you haven't read through that, I would encourage you to go back through and look at it, or even do a little Dr. Google research and read up on PADS. But it's a heavily researched program. These lessons have been found to be connected with reduced aggressive behavior, improved self-control in children, increased vocabulary for emotions, improved frustration tolerance and ability to kind of resolve conflict, reduce depression, and then the one that people's ears perk up at a lot, improved academic performance, improved performance on state achievement test, and teachers find that kids are more academically engaged after PADS lessons. We find that this is really important for helping kids be better students, but also better friends, better citizens in the classroom.
Which is really important. All of
Yeah.
those things are just very important. And especially now as we're kind of in uncharted territory, providing children with those skills, coping and identifying their emotions and being able to talk about them is just going to continue to be a very important thing. So I'm glad we can continue to deliver these lessons.
I agree. And these are things that I think a lot of families just kind of intuitively do. We all, teach our kids to be good friends and how to recognize emotions, but we don't always have a framework for doing that intentionally. We tell our kids to be good friends, but we don't often give them, hey, here are the 3 things that a good friend does, so that they have bullet points in their head for, oh, these are the things I should do if I want to be a good friend.
Definitely.
So the pre-K curriculum, we will touch on 5 different varieties of lessons. We're going to teach kids how to give compliments, how to say nice things to other people. We're going to teach them how to recognize emotions in others. A theme we're going to come back to quite a bit is being a feelings detective. So how to look for the clues about how other people feel. We're going to talk a lot about being a good friend. That's when we will read one of Twiggle's stories about the 3 things that friends do. We're also going to talk about how to control uncomfortable feelings like being angry or sad or worried. But I think the one we come back to quite a bit is angry. That's when we read another one of Twiggle's stories and we teach kids to do turtle. I think when my daughter Juliet started doing turtle at home when she was upset, that's when it clicked for me. I was like, oh, wow, this stuff really does work. And then we're going to spend some time later in the year talking about how to solve problems.
Yeah, so it's really beneficial, and it also becomes just the way we talk to children about conflicts and about their emotions. It just has become sort of this culture in our school that has been really, really wonderful. So I think I'll finish up just by telling families how we're going to deliver these lessons this year. So obviously, to start the year, we're going to be doing video lessons. And until restrictions lift or we get new guidance from the state, we'll be going that route. And so we will produce videos about once a week where the children, you can watch them at home. So we do encourage you to watch them at home with your child. And then we'll send you email reminders. We'll post them on our class web pages. But then we will also do some periodic parent videos. We started that over the summer. And found that we got some good feedback that people really enjoyed watching them. And it was just helpful to kind of explain the program, but also just kind of to help parents support their children during this time.
As much as we like being in the classroom, I think forcing to do videos of the lessons will be a really cool opportunity to engage parents in a way we haven't been able to before. We've always sent home the parent letters every once in a while that go with the accompanying lessons to keep you folks in the loop. But this will give you a chance to see the lessons that your kids are receiving every week, and hopefully to start to bring some of those concepts and some of that vocabulary home. So I'm hoping that's one good thing that can come out of us doing lessons this way. And then I also hope things change so that we can get in the classroom.
I
I think we
agree.
really, it's really fun to hear what the kids say. So,
It really is. So, kind of on the final slide, I'll just put up our contact information that if families have questions or concerns or
mhm,
even questions about the program,
mhm.
please feel free to reach out to either one of us.
Absolutely. We really like talking about this, so don't be shy about reaching out.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks, families.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon.